YouTube. Hello everyone, we are hopefully live on YouTube. We are not live on Facebook, unfortunately, because we are having a bit of an issue with our streaming provider. So I am just quickly letting everybody know over on Facebook because it's something that's just been brought to our attention. So bear with me while we just do that, and we'll give everyone a chance to join us as well. Oh, how annoying is this though? I'm hoping that I can link everybody to our YouTube channel so that people can watch, which would be helpful, won't it? Let's see if it will let me do that. There we go. Hopefully you will all be able to find me then, because like I say, we're not going to be on Facebook, we're only going to be on YouTube. Excuse me, and I can see that we are on YouTube. Let me just double check that that is working. I've literally just seen it. Where are we? There we go. I'll double check that this is working. Yeah. Hello, hello there, Annalisa. So hopefully people will manage to find us, even though we're having a little bit of an issue with Facebook. So, excuse me, we do have we use a streaming platform for to be able to multi-stream to different areas. So we can multi-stream to Facebook and to YouTube at the same time. So the software allows us to do that. We could also stream to for example, Twitch. I don't know if anybody uses Twitch. I've never used it, but I know a lot of companies do. So you can stream to various places, and we do have, obviously we've paid for this option so that we can stream to multi-channels, but apparently they've changed their pricing structure, which means that basically we're going to have to upgrade if we want to continue to multi-stream. So, which, you know, that might be fine, but it would be good to know in advance, wouldn't it? So, so we've come to log on and we've been kicked out. So that is why we are only here on YouTube today. So I'm really sorry about that. I'm also sorry that you've not got a face view of me today. We've been trialing that for the last couple of lives, which has worked really nicely. But I currently have my hair in rollers, so I didn't want you to see that. So that's why we've you're not having that view. So challenges afoot at the moment, which is very frustrating, but we are going to do some nice crafting now. And I don't really know what we're going to craft today, because as usual, time has got the better of me, and I don't often have time to prepare for these lives. But what I like to show you guys is how I basically my process in how do I put this together. So very often we will come to our craft room, we want to craft, but we've really not got a clue of what it is that we want to do. So you'll be starting exactly the same way that I am, where you don't really know what you want to do, but you know you want to do some crafting. So you get to see my thought process and see if that helps you a little bit with your thought process as well. So sometimes I start with a colour scheme, sometimes I start with an image, sometimes I start with an event in mind or a theme in mind, somebody that I'm crafting for. Sometimes it's a new product that I want to use. Sometimes it's an old product that I want to use. So there are a number of different things that might be my jumping off point. And what I would suggest to you guys is to have a think about what is the one thing that you want to play with when you're crafting today. What is the one thing that you really want to spend some time with? Is that spending some time with your inks, doing some ink blending techniques? Do you want to do some colouring in? Do you want to do a quick card? Have a think about what it is that you've got time for. So we've got limited time as usual, and obviously I've talked for far too long. So I want to make a quick card. I'm going to a wedding tomorrow, hence the reason for the rollers. So maybe I could do something that's kind of along that theme. And I also have in front of me this stamp set. This is the Be Happy stamp set. And this is an old stamp set. This has been around for some time, but has always been super popular because it is adorable, I suppose. And I wondered whether this could be used as a bit of a kind of a celebration card for a new couple, because you've got the sentiment Be Happy, so you're going to be wishing somebody that they're happy in their their new chapter of their lives. And then you've got these cute little bees buzzing around that we can make a little scene with. So like I say, we can keep it really simple, which is definitely what I want to do today. But I want to use this stamp set, and I have been updating some of the images on the website recently, just bringing everything up to so it all looks the same and a bit more uniform. So I have already stamped and die cut all of these little characters, so these are all pretty much good to go, and I've done them in a really sweet kind of pink colour scheme, which I'm loving at the moment. So again, this is one that could be really fun to do because we've already got all of our images already stamped and die cut. So again, that's going to help me just be a little bit quicker maybe in my in putting together the card. So again, this is a really good idea for when you're short on time, or you wanting to do some colouring. You've only got an hour or so to do some crafting. Why don't you stamp out a load of images, colour them in, get them die cut, ready for the next opportunity you've got to craft, and then you can put together a card using the images that you've already stamped and die cut. So that's effectively what we're going to do today. So I'm going to pop them to one side because they're going to be my inspiration for the rest of the card. The rest of the card, I've got no idea what we're going to do. So I'm going to pull out some products and we're going to have a little think about, because again, like I said, I want to keep it quite simple, but I do want to do some nice ink blending. I want to make it quite impactful but simple at the same time. So I'm going to get myself a card base. That's probably a good place to start. And I'm just thinking about what colour of cardstock I might want to use actually. I'm going to use an A2 size card base this time rather than my usual A6. I think that's what I'm going to do. And let's see, I'm going to get some scraps of cardstock out as well, because we always use those, don't we? Yes. Okay. So already, you know, popping that on the white background is just really making me smile. The Be Happy. I mean, this, you know, this could be really very, very simple. So Annalisa mentions the beehive stencil. So yes, that is definitely on my list there for us to use. I mean, it's just too cute, isn't it? They are so cute. I think, what if we were to do? They're just buzzing around their little home. Oh, how cute, how adorable is that going to look? That is going to look really cute. So I think, you know, we've pretty much got a scene more or less created there, and I want to keep it, like I say, I want to keep it really simple. So I don't know whether to make a heart aperture for them to sit in, or to do to mask off the area and do some ink blending. So again, that's going to keep it really nice and simple. Hey, Mrs. H, found you on annual leave and looking forward to this all week. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you found it. If you missed the beginning, we have had some issues with Facebook, but we'll not go back over that again. It's a very, very touchy subject. So no, we're not going to go there. So I'm loving this little scene here. I think it looks really, really pretty. And I'm just going through in my head what I want to do. How do I want to make this, you know, this little scene? And I want to make it it's a little bit love themed, maybe for a new couple, you know, so I think that the Be Happy is a really nice sentiment for that. I may change up how I stamp that out. This is one that I've already stamped out before, so so we could go with the beehive stencil, definitely. Excuse me. And we could do that. Oh, excuse me. I've got a little bit of a tickle in my throat. So we could either do that in a contrasting colour, or we could keep with that cute pink theme that we've got going on, because these pinks are really, I love that pink. But the opposite to that would be to do a nice green shade. Annalisa says you could use the heart stencil and the beehive stencil together. Yes, that's a good, well, that was going to be my next thing. You've actually read my mind, Annalisa. That was going to be my next thought. So it was either to do the aperture with the heart and have the beehive stencil in the background, or we can do the masking stencil. So I'm going to pop these to one side because I think that's really cute. And what I probably am going to do is I'm going to do the aperture, because the reason that I'm going to do that is because although I want to keep it simple, and this is still going to be keeping it super simple, I do like the idea of just creating a little bit more dimension on there, rather than it being almost one layer. It won't be one layer, but you get what I mean. So these are my heart dies, and then I need my A2 size. I mean, we could use a background like this, for example. Oh, that would be quite cute, with the honeycomb in the background of that potentially. Ooh, yeah. We could also go down the slimline route and use the use one of these as well, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Where are my A2 layering dies? Have I gone past them? So just flicking through all of my dies here, and I'm not finding the one that I need, am I? Oh, the flirty flowers, that's a nice one as well. This is the other thing to do, is to have a good rummage through your die collection, because you may well be inspired just by looking through your collection of dies, and then it may just take a whole other direction from what you thought you were going to do. So what have I done with those dies? Maybe I've gone past them. I did. There they are. Okay, so we've got those. Oh, put that in there. And stencils. Stencils. So, I believe that my honeycomb stencil is in this folder. If you don't have a honeycomb stencil, see, these are the hearts that we could use, that Annalisa mentioned, which are awesome. It's going to be one of those days where I can't find anything, isn't it? Oh, it's right there, look. So this is the sweet honeycomb stencil. So I think we're going to go with that. Could you use, I'm reading the same comment twice there, Annalisa. I always think I've missed something. So let's have a look at this now. So this is our lovely heart die, and I think this is going to help us create a little bit of dimension here, because we can have our little bees coming out of the aperture but have the little house on the inside, and it's just going to create a little bit more interest, even though we're still going to be keeping it really simple. So that works. I now need another piece of cardstock to cut my aperture out. So I'm going to use that size of die for the heart, and then the second largest die from our A2 layering set. That will create a nice little border around the outside, but we will get we'll be able to fit that in the centre. So I need a bit of card now, don't we? Let's have a look. What have I got here? Any of these suitable? That will work beautifully. So we'll add our bits of washi tape, and then before we pop this through the machine, I'm going to line up my my heart, and I'm going to go. So if we're having our little bees here, say, my sentiment, I think, can sit at the bottom there. So I'll just push that up a little bit so that it's not right at the bottom, you know, it's not right in the middle, so that there is enough room for our images but also our sentiment. So some more washi tape onto here and fix that in place, and then we can get both of these cut out at the same time, which is ideal. So bear with me as this gets a little bit noisy. Nicely done. Good. So what is everybody up to today? How are we all? Are we keeping warm? Is it still minus a million where you are, Annalisa? I know it's been so cold where you are, and I feel terrible for complaining about how cold I am constantly. I've actually got a heated blanket on my knee at the moment to keep me warm. And I've got my cup of tea as well. Always got to have a cup of tea. So let's pop out these bits. Now this that we've cut out, we could use this as well for another card. So we could raise this in the centre of another card, which I think would look really cute. Again, for another clean and simple kind of effect. So I might hang on to that, and we might do that for a second card. So you can see that this now is going to sit really nicely on top of here. So for my background, like I say, I love the pink, but I don't want to go overboard pink. So I think maybe a fresh green is going to look really nice. My question mark to myself is, do I want to have a white border or do I want a green border? Because I can either stencil all the way to the ends of my card base, or I can leave a border around the outside. And I think I'm going to go all the way in green. So Mrs. H says, we go to Wales for half term tomorrow, so I'm stamping out some images to take with me. Oh, what a good idea. Oh, have a wonderful time in Wales. I didn't even realise it was half term tomorrow. That's when you don't have children, you don't even pay any attention to kids' holidays or anything. So I never know what's going on with the holidays. So great opportunity for you to go and have a bit of time. But also you're going to get some crafty time in, I take it, which is really cool. So this is my sweet honeycomb stencil. I'm going to line it up so that you can see I've got half of one of the honeycombs on each side, the way that it lines up. And then I'm also lining it up so that you've just got a little triangle at the top and bottom, so that you can see that they're evenly spaced, which is exactly what we want. And then when I flip it over, I add my my tape just on the back and then attach it to the stencil, so it should just about stay in place while we're doing a little bit of ink blending. So the ink blending that I'm going to do, I think I'm going to go with, like I say, a really lovely fresh green, maybe a bit of yellow in there as well, just to keep it really, really bright and fresh, and maybe add a little bit of the mowed lawn just to deepen some bits up, but we're not going to go super crazy on that. So this is quite an intricate stencil, so that there is a tendency for that to possibly lift. So a great idea for that is to use the stackable brushes. So I probably will use these from time to time, just to get a little bit of extra ink coverage in certain places. But other than that, I'm probably going to use this. This is my midi sized brush. So this will get me a bit more area covered. But when I want to, really get into the detail, I can use the smaller brushes. Annalisa says it's switched over now and it's 3 degrees and it's rained for over 12 hours, just to keep you guessing. Wow, it's definitely doing that, isn't it? So, into my Twisted Citron first. Now, we really only need to do the bit where the heart's going to be. But like I say, we are talking about maybe doing around the edges. So, I'm just going to do this centerpiece where the heart is for the moment. Just roughly guessing whereabouts that heart's going to be. So I'm not going right up to the edge, but probably just doing a bit of a circle, I suppose, where my heart is probably going to be. So I can just pop that over the top, and you can see that that's working out quite well. I'm going to flip to the squeezed lemonade and just clean off my brush a little bit, and then go in the center and blur that out. I find that squeezed lemonade is very, very similar to the Twisted Citron, unless you apply a great deal of pressure. So, and obviously we have used the Twisted Citron as well, so it is going to blend into each other and look very similar. Hence the reason why I brought out the mowed lawn and then my smaller brushes, because I will get a more intense finish when I use those brushes for that reason. So, what images are you stamping out then, Mrs. H? Tell us what you're stamping out. See, I feel like this is perhaps not going to be bright enough yellow. So let's switch it up a little bit. We can go with a bit of mustard seed. We'll try a bit of mustard seed just to see if that brightens it up a little. Yeah, that's much better. So I'm just using that around the edges. I don't want to fill it in completely. I just want to add a bit of a hint of it around the edges. So you can see that using the smaller brush is really helping me direct exactly where I want that bit of yellow to be. And when we take the stencil off, you'll be able to see the even more detail. So that's the yellow, and then I'm going to go in now with the same style of brush, the stackable brush, and go in with some mowed lawn. So this is going to be a bit of a deeper green, but still very fresh in colour. And I'm going to pop that again just around those edges, and you can see that the stackable brush really does give you a bit more of an intense application of colour, and this is going to make those honeycombs look a little bit more 3D, because you're going to have a bit of shading around those edges. So let's pop my heart over the top so you can see. So I think I want a bit more green around this edge. It almost looks like the shell of a turtle or a tortoise. So that's very cute. Okay, so I think that's got all of that covered. And then, like I say, I might do green edges because I think that will look very fresh. So Mrs H says, it's life's ups and downs and the baked with love so far. I'm spoilt for choice. Oh, do you know, I had so much fun. I'm going to show you. These were these were all of the little images that I stamped and coloured this week. So we've got the bearing gifts, the unicorns in training, we've got the warm winter wishes, we've got crafty cats, we've got the hooray hamsters, the butterflies stamp set, and then the baked with love. So I did the baked with love like you've done as well. Yeah, I've spent some time just colouring all of those in, and now I've got these to make some cards with whenever I've got time. So let's do the reveal of this. Oh, that looks so good. So yeah, I think it looks a little bit turtley, a little bit tortoise shell. But that's the great thing about stencils, is that depending on how you colour them, they can become anything you want, really, can't they? So when we pop that on top of there, we've got our little honeycomb. I couldn't think of the words. And then we're going to pop our little bee scene around it. So, and I just think that that's going to look so fresh in comparison, as a little bit of a pop of colour in the background. So, and again, we're keeping it really lovely and simple. So, do I want to go green around the outside, or do I not? I'm not sure. I quite like the white on white, but the green will obviously help bring it all together. So let's just have a little look. I think I'm going to keep it white. Again, we're aiming for clean and simple here, aren't we? So that would achieve the clean and simple look. Actually, before I do that, I am going to do something that's just going to soften this up a little bit, and I'm going to add some water droplets, because you know I'm a lover of the water droplets on ink blending. So let's do a little bit of that. So I'm just tapping off some splatters of water off my just really off the nozzle that goes in my little water bottle here. Just a few little ones. I might add more. I'm just going to let that oxidise a little bit, and then we've got quite a big splatter there. Look, I didn't realise how big that was, but I think that's going to look really cool. So I don't know if you can see that, all of the texture. So I think that really helps bring it to life with a bit of texture. Okay, we have got sparkles on our little guys here as well, which is nice. So I was considering doing some sparkles in the background, but again, we're keeping it simple. So this is meant to be a card that you can kind of put together really quickly without much fuss. So we will leave it at that, and I'm going to pop this away. I struggle. I know, Annalisa, you've said in the comments that you struggle keeping things clean and simple. I really struggle with clean and simple as well. So it's always a challenge for me to just say, no, step back, just wait, and you don't have to add all of the things. So let's add a bit of foam tape to the back of this. I'm going to use my wide foam tape for this because it's nice and quick and easy to do. So we can just add a piece And then I think it's probably only going to need a piece on the bottom as well. There we go. And then along the sides, I'm going to grab my thin tape. It's the same, exactly the same depth. So I know that I'm not going to have to worry about it being a bit wonky because they're both the same height. And then I'm just going to fill that gap in. Now what you could do if you wanted to make this less simple, I guess, would be to make it into a shaker card. So you've essentially got all you need here now to a bit of acetate on the back of there, and you can make yourself a little shaker card, which again would be adorable with this theme. So let's remove our backing tape off here, and then I'm going to have a little think about what I want to do with my sentiment, because I might heat emboss my sentiment, or I could just use it exactly as it is. So let's line that up as best we can. So now we've got this lovely little bit of dimension just here. I'm hoping that there's just enough. Oh yeah, there's a lovely little gap there for our little house to sit inside, which is going to look really cute. Oh, you can see my head went fully in view there, and you can see my rollers that I've got in. So there you go. That's why you can't see my face, because I've got rollers in. That was funny. So yes, apologies for that. Got right in the view there, didn't I? So okay, so sentiment. I think sentiment needs to stand out a little bit more, and I'm going to say that the sentiment should be pink. They need to be that way around, I feel. That's it, yeah. And I think that this needs to be on this gorgeous shade of pink. So let me have a look in my pink cardstock scraps to see if I've got something that matches. If not, I may have to make my own colour of pink. So I've got this colour of pink, which is very Barbie colour of pink, but is really not the right colour of pink, I don't think. Can I say pink a few more times? Although, I mean, it does kind of go, doesn't it? But it's not perfect. So I have a piece of scrap white cardstock here. Let's try this for size. That fits on there nicely. So I just need to try and recall what were the colours that I used for this pretty pink combination. I think I'm going to test it, but I think it's the RV23 and the RV25. I think that's the colour scheme that I used. That does look very close to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the thick end of my marker, and I'm just going to completely colour in this end of card. So going completely over all of it, all of this, so it's nicely saturated in that pink. Yeah, that's going to be a good colour. May possibly have then given it a bit of the R29 as well. So let's just do a little bit of that. And oh, that's too light. That was the wrong colour. Don't do that. bleached it. Gosh, it almost looks fluorescent. Fluorescent. I don't know why I said it like that. Let's try that again. Try and blend these together. They're not like the most compatible of colours, it has to be said. But let's try bringing them together. You will blend together. Right, let's see how they dry. They may still be a little bit too dark, but in the meantime we can do just a general piece in this lovely pink. There we go. So let's see how they dry backwards. You can see that it's bled through onto my mat here, which is a bit of a shame because the Copic colour will more than likely not come off. So let's do a little bit of clean up, see if my stamp cleaner might get any of that up. That's actually worked rather well. So there you go, that's a little top tip for you there that I've just discovered. That does help a little bit. So that stamp cleaner is one that we sell in the Tabby Tea shop. So give that a little bit of a waft around. So that's not too bad. Not too bad. This is again it's just a little bit patchy because it needs to dry. So we just give that a minute or two to dry. In the meantime, while that's drying, I was just wondering if I'd got any pink ink that would go particularly well, and maybe the worn lipstick would work. Should we try a bit of worn lipstick as well? It wouldn't hurt, would it? So again, I've got a little scrap of cardstock here, and it could also be a bit of Kitsch Flamingo, which is a really nice bright pink. So we may blend both of these together. So I'm just having a little bit of a play at the moment while we're letting that dry. Let's have a little play with these two colours. I've got a smaller brush here just so that I can get a little bit more of an intense colour of ink. So the worn lipstick is more of a salmon excuse me, salmony shade of pink, whereas we're going for a bit of a brighter colour. So let's try some of that Kitsch Flamingo. Excuse me. So that is a nice colour. We're almost there in terms of the shade. So let's have a look at that in terms of, now that looks really nice. I think that a combination of the two would work really quite well, wouldn't it? Or we've got the bit that we excuse me, the bit that we've coloured with our markers. So I personally prefer the ink blended look. Now the ink blended look is going to be tricky to heat emboss onto because the ink does stay very wet. So it means then you can get a lot of anti-static. So what we will probably do, and I'm mixing both of these together, the Worn Lipstick and the Kitsch Flamingo, I'm going to mix them together to create a hybrid shade, our very own hybrid shade of pink that I think is going to go beautifully. So you can see that that works so well. Happy with that, really happy with that. So I think that was the right choice. What we might have to do now though, because like I say, the ink will stay wet for quite some time, is I'm going to dry it off with my heat tool. So just apply a little bit of heat to this. There we go. I'm not going to go mad with that. Just to dry it off a little bit, so that we can add some embossing ink, and hopefully we will have a situation that is not too wet still. And wrap that up, and we'll just straighten this out a little bit because it's got a little bit warped. And I'm going to grab my ink block. I need my stamp set down tight because we're going to re-stamp this now. So let's get the Be Happy. I'm going to put that onto our ink block. Now I'm going to grab my anti-static powder here, and we're going to just try and loosen that a little bit. Let's get some of this powder flowing onto here. To make sure that it's nicely covered in this powder because of that issue that we've just mentioned. It smells so nice, but it's sometimes, see, I'm just going to tap a little bit off there. It doesn't always flow that freely through the ends. So there we go. We've got plenty on there now. I'll just wipe that off there. That's it. So we now need, let me just grab a little bit of scratch paper ready to collect all of my powder, and we've got our embossing ink just here. Add a good bit of ink, and then I'm just going to go straight in the middle, firm pressure, bit of movement back and forth, just to make sure that we've got all of those letters. That looks like a good impression to me. Got my fine embossing powder here. Now you could use a metallic if you wanted as well. I think that would look really nice. I can already tell that that was a good first impression of powder as well, or application of powder. So our anti-static worked from what I can see, and is drying out that ink as well. So this is quite a handy little corner of cardstock because I've got a little handle for myself to hold on to while we apply a bit of heat. So here we go. Lovely. That's it. And you can see that that has inked up really, really well. Really cool. So I'm going to let that just dry for a little bit because as it dries, it's still a little bit tacky, that embossing ink and powder. So I like to leave it to dry a little bit. And the ink, the Distress Oxide ink that we've used, does it changes colour slightly with heat, but once it's dry and cooled down, it goes back to the colour that it originally was. So it can look a little bit strange when you first do it, but then it goes back to how it should look. So my little beehive, I couldn't think of the word for it then, beehive. I'm going to use some liquid glue to attach this and slot it just in the centre of the heart there, and just so that you can still see the door and everything that goes with it, and then I think I might add this little honey, was it like a honey spoon, or I'm not really sure, but it's very cute. So I'm just going to add that to the front there, and then our little bees, I'm going to give them a little bit of dimension as well, because I think that would look really cute. And I think this is looking so sweet and really quite fresh, isn't it? Very spring-like, which is what we're all, you know, well, it's definitely what I'm hoping for is a bit of spring to arrive soon. So this little chap, I'm going to sit him there. He's going to need some extra support on just here. So he's going to need double the thickness of tape. So I'm going to cut down my tape, add one piece, take off the backing and add a second piece. And that will give the right level of support to the basket area. So we'll pop him just there. And when I'm adding these guys, I don't want them to be totally symmetrical because I think that can look a little odd. A little bit of asymmetry often works better. So pop that on there, and I'm just going to test the height of him, because do I want him double the height, or I think I might want him double the height just so that he sits above the heart. So I think I will add a little bit more to to the back of him so that he is doubled up. So add a bit more tape onto him just there, and then I can apply a single bit of tape to the edges of those wings because they will sit, should just about sit onto the background heart. So let's just test that theory. That fits perfectly. Lovely. Very nice. So we can remove the backing off all of this. There we go. I'm going to pop him on a bit more of an angle and a bit lower down so that he's not dead symmetrical to his pal. So the Be Happy, there is a coordinating die that goes with this sentiment. So I'm going to use that because I think it looks really neat when your sentiments are cut out with the coordinating dies. So I'm just going to match that up there. Actually, before I do, I'm just going to give this a little rub over because now I've done that, you can see how much brighter that is. So let's pop that back on there. Bit of tape on that end. And then I get my little die cutting machine. Now, this die cutting machine has been through some trauma, as you can see. So it does need a good clean. It's had quite a lot of what shall I say, use in the last few days as we've been making place cards for it's Aunt's sister who is getting married tomorrow. So we've made their place cards, and we've made 63 of them. They were this was the prototype. So we've had to die cut this delicate aperture to make the little place cards. What I will say is that these are not time for tea dies. These were not good dies. We got them off the internet, and they had to be run through the die cutting machine several times, of which Aunt painstakingly went through, and yeah, it has now, I've got bits of blue cardstock fully ingrained into my plate, but I'm sure it will clean up. She says, hopefully. But I just think it was really interesting because obviously we got them on the internet. They were the only ones that we could find that were what she wanted, because she got a very specific idea of what she wanted for her, for her theme, which is fair. It's her wedding. That's how it should be. But it meant then obviously that we'd had to buy something that wasn't like a brand name, and it just doesn't do to buy cheap dies. They do cause you a lot of problems. It's just a fact, I'm afraid. Buy your dies from a reputable brand if you can, because it's going to make so much difference to your crafty experience as much as anything else, because it made it very tough for us to do everything, because we also did the invitations as well, which were using, again, very intricate dies, and it was, oh god, it was such hard work because we were working with products that just weren't really that great, but I think we've been spoilt with our Time for Tea products being so good. I know sometimes you do have to put dies through a couple of times, depending on what they are, but this was next level, you know. But yeah, we don't do. Unfortunately, we don't do the style of dye that obviously would be useful for a wedding. Of which, you know, this is a very cutesy kind of congratulations, be happy card, which I suppose isn't a traditional wedding card. I'm sorry I keep popping my big rollers into view, don't I? So Annalisa says she loves the sparkles on the wings. And yes, we did need to use a Time for Tea die if only we made such things. Mrs H says Quiche Flamingo is one of her favourite pinks. It's definitely one of mine. I love how bright it is. So that is, effectively that is it. That is our clean and simple and beautiful card. If you wanted to, you could add some other little sprinkles. You could add some other little embellishments. So for example, we have, these might be quite a fun little embellishment. So I do have these lovely green little dots, enamel dots, which I absolutely adore. I think they're gorgeous. We also have the pinks, and we have these clear ones, which I think again are really gorgeous. And for a clean and simple card, maybe the clear ones are the ones to go for, because they add a little bit of something without taking away from the card itself. So I'm thinking maybe a couple of the clear would be very sweet. So just add that one there. Maybe we have one there. So I try my best to go in odd numbers. Oh, that stuck to my finger. Why won't you stick to the thing? You're sticking to me. I'm very sticky. Must be. Oh, that's quite cute like that, isn't it? This guy doesn't want to stick for some reason. Put him back on his sheet. Let's get one of these other ones. Again, I'm not going for symmetry. I'm going for a little bit of. Why are they sticking to me then? I must be very sticky. I must be a bit sticky. That one is definitely stuck down. This one isn't. So what I'm going to use is I've got a bit of glossy accents for this one. Let's grab this. I'll get my sticky tool and we'll just add a bit of glossy accents and pop that down. There we go. So yeah, if ever you're struggling to get any of your enamel dots to stick down, a little bit of clear adhesives, glossy accents, anything like that, just to, if you're, you know, especially if you're thinking of sending it in the post somewhere, sometimes, you know, your enamel dots can pop off, can't they, in transit. So yeah, a little bit of the glossy accents will sort that right out. So I think that looks so cute, and I think that is, for me, that is very clean and simple. If you've been here a while, you know clean and simple is not something that I do naturally. But I do love the look of a clean and simple card. I think it is just, especially when they look like they they've taken a lot of work, you know, so I think this achieves those ends. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, see if it'll let me zoom. Hello, there we go, so that we can get a bit of a closer view. There we go, so you can get a bit of a closer look of our lovely little bees. The sparkle on the wings I achieved with some of my Stickles Stardust, so I added that to the wings. They were coloured in with my Copics, and yeah, we just did a little bit of ink blending in the background, that little heart aperture, and I think that's a really sweet little card. I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. Yay! Annalisa says, I love your style more. You like it more than the clean and simple then, Annalisa? But Mrs. H says, beautiful, definitely clean and simple, and very pretty, says Annalisa. That's it. I like both. I like both styles. I like something that's a bit more intricate and there's got lots of layers to it, but I also like something like this. And when you've not got a lot of time to craft, this is perfect. So for you, Mrs. H, if you're you know, looking to do something quick and simple while you're away, crafting away, this is a really easy one to do. You don't need a lot of things to take with you. Maybe if you ink blended some backgrounds before you went, take your ink blended backgrounds with you. Take your mini die machine. You can cut a few little apertures out, and you're good to go. So yeah, I think this is a really nice, quick and easy one to do. And Lisa says your dies and style are better than the die you got online. Oh goodness, yes. Even I'm you know, I'm more than happy to say that, because they were bad. Would not recommend. We got them to work for us, but would not recommend. So that's it. I think that's us done. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if you you know, you were a little bit late because you couldn't find us. We were meant to be on Facebook as well, but hopefully you've managed to find us here on YouTube, whether that be on the replay or however. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. There won't be a video next Friday, so there won't be a live next Friday. If I can sneak one in somewhere else, I will let you know. But we will be on Hobby Maker TV next Friday at 1 o'clock. So I will be live on Hobby Maker TV instead, which you can get via YouTube as well as on your Sky TV or on Freeview. So if you still want some live crafting from me, I will be here. I will be around crafting on Friday, but not here on our channel, on the Hobby Maker TV channel, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, because we're going to do some fun projects for that. It's going to be a lot of fun, as always. And then normal service will resume the following week. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It's been great to craft with you tonight. I'm going to go and take my rollers out now. Yeah, I will see you all next week. Thank you, guys. Bye. Bye.